Hello everyone, this is Harshita Suresh and this is my 7th module on active and passive voice. About myself, before we begin, I am currently studying BSc Electronic Media and I aspire to become a designer and journalist. I am an ardent grammar Nazi and I love music. I also love binging television shows. So here is what we will be covering today. We will find out if we can convert sentences from active to passive voice when it doesn't have an object. So here are the answers to the previous exercise in the last module. Identify if the following sentences are in active or passive voice. I'll read out the questions. This proposed rule was published by General Counsel in the Federal Register. This is in passive voice because it says was published, meaning was the auxiliary verb, by someone. There is the word by something or by someone, which makes it a passive voice. Second sentence, carbohydrates are produced by green plants in the presence of light and chlorophyll. Again, are produced, are is the auxiliary verb, and by something, right, by the green plants in the presence of light and chlorophyll, that's just an extra additional information in the sentence, so this makes it passive voice. Sentence number 3, the committee has decided to hire the candidate. The committee has decided to hire the candidate. This is in present participle tense, and the committee is the subject, and their decision to hire the candidate is an active voice. It's actively being done, right? So active voice. The fourth sentence, visitors are not allowed after 9 p.m. Visitors are not allowed after 9 p.m. Visitors subject are not allowed after 9 p.m. making it an active voice. It's straightforward. Sentence 5, I ate my breakfast in the morning. So I is the subject, eating or in the past tense, my breakfast in the morning. In the morning is an additional information. So breakfast is the object. Eating, that is me eating my breakfast in past tense, makes it an active voice. Yes. Now let's try converting the following sentences to passive voice. So all these sentences are in active voice. So please freeze your screens and try converting the following sentences. Sentence number 1, you must go now. I repeat, you must go now. Sentence number 2, the gentleman was sitting in a chair. The gentleman was sitting in a chair. Sentence number 3, the cat was friendly. The cat was friendly. Sentence number 4, the children were playing. The children were playing. Sentence number 5, Meera smiled. I repeat, Meera smiled. Now if you're wondering if you weren't able to crack any of these sentences, I will tell you why. Some sentences just cannot be converted from active to passive voice. So why? Let's see. So there are a few exceptions of some sentences in active voice that cannot be converted into passive voice. And one such example is the non-convertible tenses. So the sentences of following tenses cannot be converted into passive voice. So if a sentence is in the following tenses, you cannot convert it from active to passive voice. Let's see. First one, present perfect continuous or progressive tense. Second, past perfect continuous or progressive tense. Third, future perfect continuous or progressive tense. And fourth and the last, future continuous or progressive tense. Now this might sound complicated, but let's look into an example for each. So the first one, present perfect continuous tense. So present tense, perfect should have has or had in the sentence, and continuous, the action is being done. The students have been listening attentively. The students have been listening attentively. So you can't convert this into passive. So this is one example. Second one, past perfect continuous or progressive tense. So it is in past, not present, and otherwise it's similar. Action is being done in continuous, and perfect, which has been or had been. But since it is in past tense, it should be had been. And continuous tense as the verb. So he had been gardening all afternoon. He had been gardening all afternoon. Again, you can't convert this into passive voice. The third example, future perfect continuous or progressive tense. So we looked into all three considerations till now, all three types: present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, and future perfect continuous. So in future it should be will have been, and the continuous verb. I will have been waiting here for 3 hours by 6 o'clock. I will have been waiting here for 3 hours by 6 o'clock. Firstly, the sentence structure itself is very complicated, and you cannot convert this into passive voice again. So that is our third point. I will have been waiting here for 3 hours by 6 o'clock. And the fourth one, very interesting, future continuous tense. I will be watching TV in the evening. Will be watching. I will be watching TV in the evening. So that is our fourth point. Another type of sentence which you can't convert from active to passive. Okay, so there are some types of sentences that cannot be converted into passive voice, and the second point is explained here. Sentence with intransitive verbs cannot be converted into passive voice. Sentences with intransitive verbs cannot be converted into passive voice. There are two types of verbs, transitive and intransitive. Now you might be wondering what this new word is, transitive, intransitive verbs. It might be confusing. Now let me just tell you very simply as to what this means. Any sentence which has an intransitive verb. Let's take that. No, let's take a transitive verb for to start with. So what are transitive verbs? A verb that requires an object in the sentence to give a complete meaning is called a transitive verb. So in a sentence, when a verb needs an object to finish the whole sentence, then it's a transitive verb. For example, he bought. The sentence is not complete, right? He bought a gift. He bought a gift is a verb, a sentence wherein there is a transitive word buy. Buy or bought in the past tense is transitive. So there are some other verbs called intransitive verbs wherein the verb doesn't need an object for the sentence to give a complete meaning. Say for example, he laughs. He laughs is a full structured sentence on its own. However simple it is a structured sentence on its own. Now if a sentence has a transitive verb like he laughed, you can't convert it back into passive. It just doesn't make sense. But whereas if it's a transitive verb like he bought a gift, it can be converted into passive voice like it becomes a gift was bought by him. So the whole concept of transitive and intransitive verbs I should discuss in the next module in detail. Please do rate, review, recommend and share. This is Harshita Suresh signing off. Thanks a lot.